And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blank. And Tyler, my voice is a little scratchy today. I've been under the weather. I've been in the weather, though. It is beautiful in Arizona. How you doing today?
You know, we were talking for Check's Watch about 2 hours before we decided to hit record. Right now, I think your voice sounds much better than it did at the start of our conversation.
It warmed up.
This is true.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. I want to give you your flowers as we launch into this episode. For those listening, for those watching, those following us on social media at GIPod19, you may have seen some exciting updates as we approach 3 years of GI. October is a big month for us. New artwork, Brad. We debuted the new overlay recently here on YouTube. I'm so excited about all we've done and what's to come. The week was good. School's good. It's way too busy, busier than I want it to be. I got research methods in gender and literature. I'm full-time worker, full-time student, just full-time Jones this semester. I think I underestimated just how hectic that is, but
It's a lot.
It's a blessing. Blessed to have you in my life. Blessed to have such a great support system of people who remind me that I can do hard things. So things are busy, but I feel blessed. I feel good. We have a lot to get into today. WWE, I have a very exciting question for you. I'm excited about it. AEW Grand Slam is on the horizon. Brad, we watched the debut of the Golden Bachelorette.
Yeah, we did.
We got to talk about the men. We got to talk about the drama surrounding the franchise. You saw Transformers. We got a State of 19 update. It's going to be a great episode. You know how we do it here at GI. How are you?
I'm doing great. We got a lot of stuff to get into, like you said. This week was homecoming week for us. It was a very big weekend. I know I have some notes about that in there. But Tyler, I want to before we start, two things. Number one, I want to shout out the Marana Tiger band, and they got like baseball jerseys, so they're wearing these all yellow, just absolutely incredible jerseys. The whole band, they looked amazing at the pep assembly. I was still under the weather. Jess had to work late, so I wasn't able to make it to the homecoming game. But shout out to Sean Roebuck for the Roebuck cam on the sidelines. I got to watch the game. I don't know how we don't have AV equipment and we aren't broadcasting on YouTube. It's free. I don't understand it. Anyway, that might be a future project of mine. We'll see. Stay tuned. Don't stay tuned. It's not going to happen, but I'm going to try. But I want to shout out then the Marana Tiger, the Flying Tigers, who performed at the pep assembly. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Flying Tigers are our intellectual and developmental disability crew that aren't going to be in a regular classroom without some support. They crushed it, man. And more specifically, I want to shout out the kids that were in attendance. We have a huge campus. We've got 2,500 kids. So I think this happened after you left, but we have to split the assemblies into two. So
I didn't know about that.
You know, we had blue and gold lunch back in the day, A group, B group, whatever.
Now you have blue and gold assemblies?
We have to, yeah. And the stands are almost full with half of the student population in the first one and half in the second one. So they have to do the assembly twice and, you know, keep that energy up, and different groups doing the same thing 2 times. It's a lot of work, and we got to see it. I don't know. I don't remember what it was like back in the day, you know, in 2001 when I graduated. I don't remember what those assemblies were like, but I know that these kids sometimes get a lot of grief because they're that generation, the cell phone generation. They don't know how to take care of each other or talk to each other. Tyler, the pop that the Flying Tigers got for performing by these kids, I was crying. There was a moment where I stood up and I was screaming, "Let's go." Because I can't remember my guy's name. Boy has Down syndrome. I don't know what grade he's in. He's just fired up. He's like doing like firing up the crowd. My guy hit the splits at the end of the routine, dropped Split City, and I was up and screaming. I was like, "You guys are not excited enough."
He hit the Naomi.
Yes, he absolutely hit the Naomi in the middle of this thing, and I was
I'm
like,
feeling
"Oh,
the glow." from here.
Holy bleep, this is amazing. It was so good, man.
That's amazing.
So I don't always like the assemblies. I've never felt like we've established a purpose for the assemblies other than to have them. And every time I ask, it's always, well, we're going to showcase all this stuff. Yeah, but why? Who cares? Like, give us a reason to care. It can't just be like, look what we're doing around here. It's got to be like, well, what is the purpose? And the purpose has always been, let's fire up the football team for the football game. Traditionally, those things happen at the end of the day, so we can fire up the football team for the football game. So we do it in the middle of the day. We split it. It's weird. I've never loved it. And I left this one going like, oh man, I feel really good about what they did in there. Shout out to the student council for putting in all that work. It is not an easy task to set those things up. It looked great. People were great. I wish the student population was more invested, but for what it was, they were awesome, and they were super kind and super supportive of everything and everybody, what they were doing. Even the kids that didn't, the kids that are, they don't want to be there. They're at the top by the wall on the top of the bleachers. That's usually where I sit to try to stop activities, or at least make my presence known.
I remember chaperones. We got to spread out and cover all the different parts of the bleachers.
It's always go sit with the kids, and I always look down incredibly judgmentally at I'm just going to say it, at all the pricks that just stand by the door because they don't want to go up in the crowd. Like, go sit with the kids, man. Like,
dog, talk about it.
Why are you here if you don't want to go sit with the kids? Like, that's
the dereliction of duty.
Yes, it's also the fun part. And some people are like, well, I get overwhelmed by all the stimulus, and I'm like, buddy, have you met me? You think this is something I enjoy? No, I do not. I don't like being around that many people in an uncontrolled space. As soon as we're getting ready to leave, I'm like, oh God, here we go. And you know what? I do it anyway. A, do it. It's your job. B, it's effing fun. You get to see the kids in a different way, in a different light, and get to go celebrate all of their successes and watch them play games and cheer them on for silly stuff. That's just community building. Go build community.
You're out of the classroom. You're out of the classroom. That's
unfortunately,
we deserve a little bit of a break. The fact that you
forever to get out.
Everybody
was waiting at my door. I was the last one out, but
logistically, sometimes nightmarish.
Not ideal, but
the fact that you were able to not only celebrate the young man with the splits and all the kids that performed and organized, but the fact that
both dance teams were great. The dance class, the dance team, they were both amazing.
They killed it.
Yeah.
It sounds like potentially perched from the top of the bleachers, you were able to see kids supporting other kids. Doesn't it give you hope that we might just be all right? This next generation, they're going to make this 100%. Work. Humanity should have hope.
100%, man.
Empathetic, caring, resourceful, creative,
supportive, all of those things.
They got this.
All those things. They're amazing. Stoked for them. Speaking of new generations, Tyler, a new generation of Transformer movie hit the silver screen, as it were, and I got to go see it. Freya's been counting down to the 20th. Yesterday was the 21st. Today is the 22nd as we record this. So we got to go to No, we didn't go get bread. We didn't go to the Texas Roadhouse. We went to the Roadhouse Cinemas. Got a big bowl of glazed and confused popcorn and some Southwest fries and a old fashioned kegged root beer. It was a really good time. I had a lot of fun. So let's talk about it. It's time for GI at the movies. So hit the music.
And now it's time for GI at the movies.
Okay, now we're getting into it. Hopefully it's new music. I did not make that yet. So we're hoping for the best. I had a good time, Tyler. I didn't know how this was going to go. You never know with animated stuff. This movie, I will say, tonally did feel like it couldn't make up its mind between a PG movie for kids and a PG movie that's probably on the edge of PG-13 for adults. It was kind of dark. I mean, spoiler, one of the characters, and I'm not going to reveal who it is slowly ripped in half. So it's a death. It's a big one. And also part of it felt like the Lego movie. Like, just, it gave me Lego movie vibes. Like, it was silly. The character, B's character, who's like B number whatever, who obviously ends up being Bumblebee. That character's great. really, really funny stuff. Some great lines in there, throwback lines, and it'll be like, it was Optimus Prime when he's still Orion Pax before he becomes Optimus, doing all these things because it's an origin story. And he's like, well, I can go down there. I can go receive that. I can get I have a really good touch for these things, and I can go recover a lot of energon. I got the power to do that stuff. And the Scarlett Johansson character goes, you don't have the touch. You don't have the power. And I felt like I was the only one laughing in the movie theater because that's the line from the original Transformers movies. From like the worst song ever that I have nostalgic feelings about it. And it's literally, they start singing and it's just, you've got the touch, you've got the power. So there's references to these old shows.
Nice little callback.
Awesome stuff. I love getting those little hints and those little Easter eggs. It was a lot of fun. The most important thing I took away from it was I was invested in finding out what happened with these characters. I had a really good time watching it. It was a lot of fun. It was really exciting. I would recommend going to see it. If you like Transformers, if you like the property, the movies, the shows, whatever, I think it's worth your time. We went for a matinee, so I paid like $9 for recliner seats and food and stuff, and it was worth every penny. I would have paid the full price if I had to, but it was a lot of fun, great experience. 7-year-old Freya approved, although she can't be saying Bumblebee's nickname out loud because that will get her in some trouble at school. But I did think it was a lot of fun, man. It was a good trip to the movies. I recommend going.
That's amazing. My most recent memory of Transformers, this is shameful to admit. Luckily, it's just you and I. No one else is going to hear or watch this. I'm thinking of Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. That might be the last time I saw Transformers in the theaters.
2007, I believe.
It's a deep cut. Oh my goodness. I thought I was born in 2007. No, I was a freshman in high school then. Oh my gosh.
So
that checks out.
I'll say this. You didn't miss a lot. But you like Michael Bay, so maybe go back and watch them and watch crap blow up and hit cameras because that's all he does.
By genre, for sure. Well, Brad, I'm ready now based on your approval, certainly based on Freya. I can't believe she's 7. Wow.
It's wild.
Based on your recommendation, I'm ready to see this new Transformers movie. I'm also ready, and I hope you are, to elevate my fantasy sports experience with Prize Picks. During the WNBA postseason, that's right, playoff action, you can win up to 100 times your money. Brad, imagine turning a $10 entry into a whopping 1,000 bones. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every single week, from lowering select player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. We have stars like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston looking to make names alongside the greats such as Brianna Stewart and the newly minted MVP, Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash by watching them ball out. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Once again, that's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. Is that easy?
So, Tyler, I held this up because today's an important game, even though I'm holding it up and I'm a little sad. But today's an important game. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, for the Mercury, I mean, well, for me, it starts with the Mercury, right? They've not, gosh, this is reminding me so much of the Phoenix Suns in their postseason. all the way to the team they're playing. Suns, it was the Timberwolves. Now it's the Lynx for the Mercury. They've not looked good heading in this postseason. However, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with our team, with our beloved Phoenix squad. This could be Diana Taurasi's last postseason, Brad.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal. One of, if not the greatest ever in the W. I want to see what happens. Minnesota has a strong team. They're certainly the betting favorites, but I'm holding out hope that Phoenix can force a game 3 back at the Footprint Center, and anything could happen there. Of course, I want to see Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. Do they pull the upset on the Connecticut Sun? We'll see. The New York Liberty looked dominant against the Atlanta Dream today.
Yes.
They are the presumptive favorites to break through and finally win. I'm looking forward to all of that. And of course, we can't count out the aces. They have the best player in the world in Asia Wilson. There's a lot to be excited about for the W this postseason. How about yourself? I love the T. Go Mercury.
Yeah, that exactly what you said yesterday. I got really excited when you sent me the newspaper clip, which shout out to you for finding a newspaper once again.
Yes, sir. Give me my flowers.
They're still in print. That's amazing.
Yes, they are. AZ Central.
I got excited because I didn't like, oh, that's so great. I got excited, but then I didn't realize that I don't know how to read apparently. So I looked at it and I was like, I thought it was one more year exclamation point. I did not see the correct punctuation. I think there was a shadow or something over it. I didn't see that it was a question mark. So selfishly, I'd love one more year. She's had a ton of great moments this year, but also how likely is it? And what more do you have to give to the sport? And it's just, you've given so much for 20 years to all of us for, being an all-timer in college, to going and being the greatest, maybe the greatest ever. As of right now, the GOAT. Who knows what the future holds with rookies who are doing things that nobody's ever done. Caitlin Clark is doing record-breaking things as a rookie, and it's not rookie record-breaking things. It's like being on the precipice of breaking WNBA records. It's crazy in year one. We don't know what Angel Reese is going to be. Things are just so different. I'm just looking forward to watching the playoffs for truly the first time ever. I've never really paid any attention to it, and now I'm like, yeah, I gotta make sure I can get in there and watch. But it's also football season, and I'm struggling. So in the mornings, it's on Sundays, it's NFL Red Zone. So if I haven't watched wrestling by that point, I'm really struggling to catch up because I'm like, I got a phone open, I got wrestling
that multi-screen live.
Like 3 screens going. I feel like I'm Scott Hansen doing the quad box, but it's different programming, not the same games. So when you got a quad box, AEW and WWE all happening at the same time, it's a lot, man.
Well, and you're not alone, Brad. First, I'm just euphoric to hear your excitement about this postseason. I know we're certainly not alone. There's talk in the sports community about the WNBA and their postseason moving forward. Now that they're gaining so much traction, does it make sense to edit the schedule in some way where possibly you avoid competing with the NFL? Particularly, this is as we record, it's a Sunday. This is the first day of WNBA playoff action. It's hard not to be overshadowed by Patrick Mahomes and
right,
the biggest sports league by far in the country. So I wonder moving forward if they just strategically move some things around where maybe they start the season earlier or later, or, there are time periods in the calendar year where it's not flourishing with sports. I think the WNBA could really be propelled by that because of the stars, because of the quality of action. The WNBA is here, man. I can't wait for this postseason. Before we move to WWE, do we get an official prediction from you? Who's going to win the title? We got to. I don't think you're going Phoenix.
No.
Are you going
Phoenix out of the first round?
Probably not, but we can hope. Las Vegas going for the three-peats? Is Caitlin Clark gonna do it, Brad? Year one.
No. I'm gonna
get to the finals.
I'll say because that team has been hot.
I'm telling you, we know how this goes in any sport. It's about who is playing the best right now. Indiana's making a case.
I would say into the second round. I don't know if they get out of the second round.
Upset Connecticut. I like it.
I would love to see that. There's got to be at least one upset.
Indiana's poised for it.
Man, I don't know. Liberty, Aces, Lynx. I'm going to go Lynx. Let's just, that state doesn't win anything. So let's give it to them. Shout out to Ben Anderson.
They got a squad. Arguably the best. Yeah, shout out to Ben. Arguably the best coach in the league in Cheryl Reeve, Nafisa Collier, Kayla McBride. They got a squad. I just looked at the score, by the way. I did not check Fever Sun from earlier.
That's what I was trying to pull up. I couldn't get it
93-69. Connecticut defeated the Fever by a lot.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Yeah. Maybe we can edit,
I recant
my
statement.
Yeah. It's a 3-game series. It's very different in the W to start. Connecticut will be at home for game 2. I'm not ready to ride out Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark. We will see. Brad, I'm going to pick the New York Liberty to win the title this year. I picked them last year. My heart was broken. I think they get over the hump this year with Sandy Brindello and the crew out. out east.
Who knows? But Tyler, speaking of not knowing anything, I don't know what you're going to ask me. So let's get into it. Hit me with your WWE question.
This is a fill in the blank.
Ooh.
And we're going to talk about the SmackDown segment. But
Fill in the blanket.
Yes. I want to lead with this. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns is the best WWE feud since blank.
Ooh, that's tough. Chronologically, there's that whole gap in between where, like Cena Rock was pretty hot, but it was also a year gap between them doing anything. It's probably the best WWE feud since Vince McMahon and legal teams. In the ring,
Netflix this week.
Yeah, that's right. Man, I don't know. That's such a good question.
Rock Stone Cold is the obvious one.
Rock Stone Cold is the obvious one.
Cena Rock is there. Rock Stone Cold is iconic.
Right. It's the biggest one. But like the best one. I mean, you got Sasha Bailey in there. You got Charlotte's in there with a bunch of people. Sasha, Becky. You can't discount the women's division in there. And they've had some great feuds. Man, Sheamus and Drew. You've had some epic ones, but nothing's been bigger since Rock and Austin. Like that's the only one that's ever come close to this.
Can we talk about the SmackDown segment? That's very much aligned with the biggest.
We will, trust me.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yes,
because I loved it, and that's what led me to ask you. Question's a little bit biased inherently. I think it's hitting all the right notes right now, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the third year of the feud, right? Second year technically,
but
going into
longevity. Yeah, longevity. This is a totally new wrinkle to the feud.
Because Roman feuded with, Roman and Sammy was fast, but that was incredible. Cody Roman hasn't really, I don't know. That first year never really felt like a feud. It was just Cody lost the end. And then it felt more like a feud, but it was a feud with the bloodline more than it was with Cody.
Right. It hasn't been consistent, these two guys. There's been all these wrinkles and supporting characters.
Right. But now it's starting to feel like, all right, they're 1-1 since Cody came back in the big matches. And now we get to see a feud. Now we get to see a rivalry. Now we get to see them like, no, I just want to be better than you. This is for the company, not for the championship.
Yeah. You're standing in my way.
In life. Good Lord. Good
Lord. Okay.
That's the part.
I'm ready.
I don't even know who to root for there.
Yeah.
I do. I'm just kidding. It's Roman. But one's in the air all the time, forever.
Okay.
I love Cody. I love what he's done. No, not even close to me. Like, not even close. It's Roman, giant gap, Cody, gap, everybody else. That's what it is right now. But Roman he's still on God mode, and he's still on a whole different level. And I won't be able to be convinced otherwise. Aura-wise, that dude walks in and everybody's paying attention. Cody walks in and everybody might be looking, but they might not be paying attention the way that we pay attention to Roman. Roman doesn't have to say a word for us to get the attention. Cody's fiery, impassioned speeches get our attention, but Roman just commands it. He demands it. He shows up and everybody's like locked in. Cody is like, yeah, he had to work for that. He's earned it 100%, but it's just not the same thing. Some people just own the room. Like, they walk in and they're like, nope, this is mine. This belongs to me. And there's nothing you can do about it. That's Roman, man. Like, Stone Cold kind of had that. The Rock had that. Stone Cold, like, did he own that? Take away the glass breaking.
It was different than The Rock, for sure. I think he did.
I don't know.
I think he did. It looked different than The Rock. It looked different than Roman now.
I think so. It's just Stone Cold was like a little bit. Roman is just like this statuesque. I'm gonna stand there and everybody will move around me.
Yeah,
I don't have to move.
Yeah,
Where
he's an
Stone Cold, you
Adonis,
never
right?
knew where he was gonna go. That was the fun part. It's like, all right, he's gonna stun Pat Patterson
He's
today.
unpredictable, right?
He's
Yeah,
gonna hit
yeah,
the random security guard. Maybe he stuns
yeah.
McMahon. Like
He doesn't
this
care
guy.
about being the biggest box office draw of his generation. He just wants to stun people and
He just wants to go to work and hit
Steve
his
Weiser.
boss.
Yeah,
Yep, drink the Steve Weiser.
yeah, that's why we love him.
The Rock is the box office draw, and he knows it, and it's just different. So I think, yeah, that's the closest comp, and they're also different. I think that what we were just saying is like it speaks to that. Is they are all so amazingly different that we have this great variety. Yeah, man, I love this. I think Cody ends up being the heel in this. I think they planted that seed with what The Rock did as a heel, whispering in his ear, "You disappointed me," or whatever, handing him whatever that was. Hopefully that doesn't end up being another golden egg situation that just farts away in the wind. You know, I bought tickets to go see Raw thinking that I was going to get to see John Cena, damn it. And now I know for sure that is not going to happen. And I haven't broken it to Jess or Freya, but I'm a little sad about that. Who knows? Maybe we get The Rock back. I doubt it, but who knows? I don't know, man. I love
It's
it.
possible.
I love it.
I love it too.
So Tyler, as promised, we got to talk about it. So the cinematic interaction between Cody and Roman was amazing. It was Georgia Tech, right?
Georgia Tech.
On the field. So doing something with that production value it's not tenable. Like you can't keep doing that. You can't do that all the time. That's a special thing, a one-off, whatever. First of all, I'd love to hear your specific thoughts about it. But who else? What other group, person, rivalry, whatever, would you like to see receive that treatment in WWE?
Wow. So Drew McIntyre and CM Punk have one of the other massive main event feuds in the company right now. For them, it just feels much more gritty. I don't know that I necessarily want the high production value and I like where they're at, where it's just vicious and them beating each other up week after week. And I don't know if that would quite work for what they're going for versus Roman and Cody. These are two faces of the industry, two titans, just very different. So like I said, I'll answer the latter first. What other rivalry or potential person, would it make sense for? I really like what they're doing with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
Right now, I think those two guys could thrive in a situation like this. Obviously, this is a different place on the card for sure, but those are two guys who strike me as okay. This could be something. Even Julia.
To that point, before because I just wrote down a note so I don't forget it.
Yeah, of course.
That particular Andrade and Carmelo, Ali and Ricochet. You remember the video packages?
Yes.
That's
that they did on their own.
Yes,
totally separate from the company. 100. I think that was for a feud that was largely on main event.
Yes. That to your point, I think that they could definitely benefit from something like that.
For sure.
And that's
we'll
what
talk
it would
about
look like, right?
later. Yeah, absolutely. But women's division wise, obviously Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, they may be feuding for the back half of the year here. Julia in NXT, total star. Stephanie Becerra is coming through. There's lots of talent you can make this work with. But that being said, on Friday, Brad, we saw it. We saw the high production value. Roman and Cody. I had to go back and watch it a second time. I saw on social media everyone was praising it. It was as good as advertised. Everything
8 minutes, man.
Everything worked out perfectly. The cinematic effects, this really isn't your city, this is my city. And then they cut to the Omni and other, historic landmarks. Brilliant. I don't know that I was prepared for us to lean into this rubber match so soon. I don't know when it's going to happen quite yet. Maybe you have an idea, but I didn't realize we were going to get to these teases right away. I love it. I thought it was perfectly executed, and we'll see in Atlanta. It's coming up soon, Brad. We're going to see whose city it is. We're going to see if these two guys can, dare I say, coexist. And I think it's going to bring in major business for WWE. They're cooking once again.
It was incredible, man. And I think I did think it was funny. Somebody pointed it out when I watched it again. It's like Roman bled on that field. He played football on that field. It's like, this is my field, so it's my city. And Cody's like, this is my home. But Roman was like, what did you ever do? And he's like, well, my dad worked here.
Yeah.
You
You played football here and then you went back to the beach, homie.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought
I don't think of Atlanta when I think of Roman Reigns. I think of Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
I think of Atlanta when I think of Cody. See, Cody, listen, man, I know you're Team Roman here, but I think Cody he came with the facts.
I think of Florida when I think of Cody. I don't think of Atlanta at all when I think of Cody. I think of Daly's place.
You think of Daly's? Wow.
What did Cody ever do in Atlanta? Stardust? Cody's never done anything in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta.
Point taken. He's
like,
from Atlanta.
He's from Atlanta the same way Dustin Rhodes is from Atlanta.
Nightmare Factory? No.
Do you associate Dustin Rhodes with Atlanta?
No, Texas.
I just think it's awfully strange to have such strong Texas ties and be like, Atlanta's my home. I just think it's kind of funny. But anyway, what do I know? I heard it and I was like, all right, whatever. He clearly was raised in Atlanta. His dad, Dusty, I think of when I think of Atlanta. Dusty Rhodes is like, when you say Atlanta, I'm like Dusty Rhodes, maybe Ric Flair, hell, even Sting. Just because of that
For
WCW, that late stage NWA before WCW. I think all of that is just, it's Atlanta. The what was the powerhouse, the Power Factory or whatever it was called. I can't remember what
Power Plant. Yeah.
Power Plant, yeah. All of that just all hubbed in Atlanta in the South. I probably think of Carolinas when I think of Flair more than anything else, but yeah, I never associated with Atlanta with Cody. I just don't. Maybe that's my failing, but I don't associate Roman with Atlanta either. So neither one of them. It's neither of their cities. Like,
that's option C.
I feel like in the middle of that match, Austin Theory needs to show up and go, what the hell is going on here?
That's hilarious.
Have you not heard A-Town Down? Are you
right?
Are you out of your damn minds? Like, I think
this is great. I didn't even think about this element of the presumptive main event. I think now for sure it has to be the main event of Bad Blood. I didn't even think about this element of not just New Bloodline versus Cody and Roman, but the Cody and Roman part of it and whose city is this. I'll be fascinated to see the reception that both guys get.
Yeah,
at State Farm.
I think it'll be great. Now, to your point, you said CM Punk and Drew would benefit or would not benefit from having a cinematic.
I don't know that they need. I don't know that it would elevate it anymore.
No,
I think this elevates Roman Cody to an even higher tier.
But this is the CM Punk Drew feud stuff. That's where like an AEW style video packaging would fit perfectly for what they're doing right now. Do the raw, gritty backstage stuff, the promo in the hallway by the production equipment.
I agree. It needs to be gritty.
I think they could totally do that. They've set stuff up like that before. I think they could do that. I'd let them do it. Let them get a steady cam back there, put it in one of their faces and let them go. I really like the Drew stuff, like the talking trash on social from his couch or after watching the segment, stuff like that. I love that. I think they're doing fine without it because they're doing it through social media and they don't need the help or support of a cinematic segment where WWE's going, these are the two biggest stars in the company. Let's give them the biggest star treatment
in all of wrestling.
All of wrestling.
Undeniable at this point. And we love AEW. We love AEW. Undeniable though.
100%. But at this point, it's if we're going Raw, SmackDown, NXT, fourth place is anything AEW is doing. Viewership wise, production value wise, they've all gotten better. I still hate NXT's set. I just hate it. I don't like looking at it. I don't like watching the shows there. I think it looks garbage, but I think what they're putting in the ring is incredible. And
they'll be touring, right? Starting October 1st on
touring,
CW.
As soon as they hit the road for CW, it's going to be a different story. It's going to be must see television. So I'm really looking forward to it because it's like my personal hurdle to get over is like, so truly like a lot of people watching it.
This is documented.
The set, it just feels so small and enclosed. It's like watching ROH tapings. I don't know. But like just old ROH tapings. So I don't know how to describe it other than that, other than it looks like AEW dark. But with better production. I don't know, but when they do backstage stuff and they do the cinematic stuff, it's always high quality.
Yeah. Got a great
and their in-ring stuff is incredible. So I can't wait to see it where they get the more of a big time treatment because I think they deserve it, earned it. It's going to be awesome. As far as people getting the cinematic treatment right now, maybe Rhea and Liv.
I think so.
I think that's the only other other pairing I could see that happening with. Maybe Finn and Priest. I don't really feel like they've earned that yet, even though it should feel like that. I don't know. I can't think of anybody else right now. Gunther doesn't need it. Gunther just goes out, slaps dudes, and it's kind of done. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any other options for you. I think you nailed it. So, Tyler, a lot of other things happened this week. We talked about WWE. We talked about things being cinematic, and one of the most cinematic productions I've seen in a while, and very, very feeling like it was scripted, is the Golden Bachelorette. You know, when it's golden, I'm in. When it's not golden, I'm out. But I've been watching, and I can't wait to hear what you got for a rose from Tyler. It's time for a golden rose. So play the music.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Truthfully, we've been saving this conversation for this very
Yes.
moment on air. I don't really know where you stand on much of the Golden Bachelorette, Brad, but here we are. We got to talk about the debut episode, Jones season. Here are my quick notes, and I want to pass it to you. I am first encouraged by the undeniable charm of the show. I completely understand why you and others are in for the golden editions, not the standard. There's an inherent charm that comes with these cast members of a certain age. The stakes feel higher. These people feel more believable, and it's worth checking out. So I'm glad I got you hooked on it. Secondly, Jonathan, your favorite, last week during our preview. It was a great pick by you. I think at this point we can lock him in for hometowns. He's handsome. He's kind.
Great.
No baggage that we know of, which we will talk about. He seems great. It's a fantastic pick by you. I think we can lock him in there. I thought, okay, maybe he'll make top 5. Maybe something will happen. But at this point, he's a can't miss contestant on Jones season here. You know, we got to bring in a wrestling perspective in terms of early heels and baby faces. My guy, one of my top 4, Pascal, the salon owner. I can't tell based on his presentation, Brad. I'm getting possible heel arc potentially.
I picked him too, man, and I'm thinking the same.
It's given the jet flying, limousine riding. I'm a salon owner. I have a fast car. You know, pick me. We can fly around the world. And
well, from Chicago, but not raised in Chicago.
Right. Great accent. French accent, yes?
Yes,
French
from Paris. Born and raised in Paris, I believe he said.
So I'm keeping him in my top 4, but I hope you don't get a villain arc. It could happen. In terms of baby faces, Jack, the 68-year-old caterer from Chicago, was hilarious.
He's so great.
I thoroughly enjoyed him. As well as Charles, 66-year-old retired financial analyst from Philly. His promo package was great. He mentioned his widow, and that wasn't great, right? But mentioning the widow and kind of, you know, we could really connect with him early. He mentioned his daughters encouraging him to get back out there and date. And he even called himself handsome in a really humble way. It was just, it was fantastic. I'm rooting for him. But finally, Brad, someone I am not rooting for, I may have even put him in my top 4. I got to go back and revisit last week's episode. Gil, the California educator. News came out this week that he has a pre-existing restraining order from June of this year from a previous partner on harassment - emotional grounds. You know, at this point, Brad, it's not even just stick or fodder for our podcast. I don't know what is going on with the Bachelor franchise and how they recruit folks, but it's unforgivable at this point. The news around Devin, Jen's pick, is still swirling. He's not a good guy. Gil has this and still made it on the show. Apparently, they're going to cut him out of the next few episodes, but we shouldn't even be in a place where this is happening. I don't know what's going on with the franchise. I'm still going to watch Golden Bachelorette, but I may need to revisit. I know I've said this a lot, but I'm serious this time. I may need to revisit my dedication to this franchise because at this point, it's not only problematic, but it's becoming disturbing.
So I'm looking at a Vulture article by Jennifer Zahn, and it was published on the 21st, so yesterday. And the title of it is The Bachelor franchise's casting team is probably having a bad week. And it's not something that we haven't talked about before because Guri had some problems with his past, who looks like he's going to be on the show.
He's going to be on the season.
What are we doing?
I forgot about that. Why?
He's in the promo packages, and I was like, what the hell is this?
Why?
Why is this man going to be on my screen after all this?
They're just toying with us now. We got rid of this guy. We're not going to bring him up ever again. And he's going to be on the show to give Joan words of encouragement. No. Get him out. What do you like to say? Yeet him into
the sun, my friend.
Somewhere away from our TV screens. What are we doing? I forgot about that.
Throw him directly into a hamburger stand. This guy cannot be on our screens.
It's egregious.
After all the stuff that he did. It is crazy that the vetting process is not better with this show. Also, production team, get your shit together, treat people kindly. I don't care if you're having a bad time, be nice to people. I don't understand why this man's going to be on our screens, Tyler. I don't understand it. Gil was not one of my picks, thankfully. We talked about him though. We're like, hey, an educator, very cool. No,
that's all I needed.
No, I just
terrible.
It sucks. My final five are still here. I picked five. I couldn't decide between four. I have Jonathan, Jordan, Pascal. We'll see with him. Like you said, Mark and Guy. I feel good about my picks. I still think Jonathan's going to make it to hometowns. Like you said, I hope Jack does just because it's so fun.
Guy's a good pick. Very handsome man. Perfect teeth. ER doctor. I mean, that's a layup.
Yeah. Nice. They all seem. I actually was surprised to see how kind of soft Kim was. I didn't think it was going to be like any kind of vulnerability or any kind of personal moments. And he shared some personal stuff and seemed like very straightforward and aggressive in his softness and sentimentality. It was an interesting thing that I saw.
He wore the uniform. Yeah.
He wore the uniform, but he was like, I want to have somebody that I can grow old with and love. And I'm looking for that connection. But he was just very straightforward with being like, yeah, I'm here for the good time. It wasn't like any kind of tender touch to it. It was tender, the thing that he said, but very much delivered like a Navy captain. It felt like an order.
Sure.
Like
the guys seem supportive of each other so far.
Yeah,
and we got a similar vibe on Golden Bachelor. I know there was there were a couple rivalries, but overall just a different tenor than a non-Golden season. They seem supportive of each other. It's really adorable to me.
So a couple of notes. Joan can't act when she had to like take a break because, this is tough. And I was like, all right, they just needed a commercial break and they wanted to be consistent because Guri had to do this too. So I had to walk away. I left the room. So did Jess. Jess got up and walked away too when Jack started singing. The show is just made out of charm. I love the beginning when they're getting ready. They did it with Guri. They did it with all of them, like putting in the hearing aids and doing all the things. I thought that's awesome. They had like the scooter race out in the parking lot. They played the
videos from the family.
Yes.
Right. Like the kid, like these contestants' kids and grandkids.
But I have a IWC and IWC AEW style complaint about the show though, when they have random cameos and I got to go, who the hell is this? Because I don't watch the other garbage. I don't know who these randos are that keep showing up. That was like, oh, it's somebody from season 4 of The Bachelor. I don't care. What do I care? Who's this person? Get this jabroni off my screen. I don't need to see this person. So I do have complaints about that. Like, you better give me a video package so I understand who this is. I can't keep track of these things. So I felt irritated. And then I was like, is this what it's like to be a really casual fan of a product? I don't really know. So I didn't love that. But other than that, I thought it was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to my real question for you, Tyler. Who's this season's Kathy?
Kathy. I couldn't think of her name before. Thank you. I think it's going to be Pascal.
I think it's going to be Pascal too.
Maybe they just presented and shot him that way in episode 1 to think we're getting a villain arc. And I don't know if Kathy's inherently a villain. She's just a little spicy. But to me, it's based on episode 1. It's clearly got to be Pascal.
Yeah, if there's a guy named Terry with a TH in there, it'd be like, yeah, it's going to be Pascal, and it's going to be against Terry.
Pascal's the answer.
All right, Tyler. Same from me. Let's get into it though. It's time to talk AEW. So hit me with your AEW question.
That was one of my favorite batch conversations.
That was great.
Go us. So AEW, Ricochet officially challenged Will Ospreay. We will talk about that next week. This may be the first time I'm actually telling you what I'm going to ask you next week, Brad.
Wild.
That is going to be my focus. A very important match for our friendship. We will get there eventually. But he challenged Will Ospreay. MXM Collection emerged as my new favorite tag team. The tips. I love Mariah May as champ. That's no secret. And reports surfaced of Miro allegedly requesting his release. All of this on the heels of AEW Grand Slam, headlined by Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley and Nigel McGuinness versus Bryan Danielson, if the champ receives medical clearance. Brad, Grand Slam is responsible for one of your favorite moments in company history. The 2021 bout between the aforementioned Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega. How are you feeling heading into this fourth installment?
Not great, man. Not great at all. I still, like I said last week, I think this Danielson is out for, a month, 3 weeks. It'll be a month by the time he shows up for Grand Slam, hopefully cleared by doctors, without having the title stripped from him, which is stupid. So it's just stupid. Be consistent. If you can't defend because of injury, you have to drop the title. Like Punk had to drop the title. Like all these people drop the title when they get actually injured. So if you're going to do it for storyline and have your champion off TV for a full month, that's crazy to me. Mariah May, I haven't loved her run at all. I really like her as champ, but what's she doing with it?
She got the match with Yuka. She beat Nyla Rose. This is where it started. And now we got the Yuka match,
I love Yuka.
Which my Mariah May, easy for me to say, is for sure going to win.
But she won this week.
Yeah.
Why'd she even have that? Like it's just, what are we doing? So I don't like the way she's being booked. I think her and Yuka are going to tear it down. I can't wait for that. I think the Grand Slam card looks great. Like if you look at the wrestling matches on it, I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
The stories going into it are kind of stupid. They just feel rushed and dumb. Like this Darby Mox thing feels dumb. Nigel and Danielson, this should have been at a pay-per-view. This should not be at Grand Slam. This should be that's an event I would pay for. I hope he's not cleared, so they have to do it later on. And I hope he and Nigel have a match. I don't know that it's going to be any kind of great. Nigel's had injuries and he's got ring rust, and Danielson's at the tail end here, but we know he's still one of the greatest of all time or in the world currently. Mm-hmm. So who knows what's going to happen, but I don't feel awesome about it.
What about Saraya, Jamie Hayter?
What about it?
Saraya's rules.
I don't know.
Jamie Hayter on the show?
What is Saraya's rules?
They had a funny backstage segment with Harley Cameron listing. I don't know if that was completely facetious, but it was basically like, Saraya can use weapons. Saraya, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea if that's actually what this is going to be. Jamie Hayter for sure is going to squash her, but
you're going to kill her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it for Saraya in AEW.
But Jamie Hayter should be winning that.
I don't know if that's it for Saraya in AEW. I don't have a clue. She hasn't really been used all that much in the last year.
She was champion a year ago, and since then,
at least on screen.
Right.
At least on screen, like backstage, behind the scenes, we don't know what's going on. We have no idea.
I'm sure she's a valuable asset.
I know her boyfriend seems like an absolute piece of garbage, but
yeah, it's unfortunate.
And her leaning into it, going like, "Well, I'm not the bad guy. My boyfriend's the bad guy." Is really quite the way to lean into dating a terrible person. But
at least we got Harley Cameron.
At least we got Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron's awesome. So
she is.
Britt's still kind of MIA. I know we'll hear from Britt Baker is always, I don't know what's happening, man. I don't know what happened to AEW. It's just like they put on incredible pay-per-views and then they come out of it going like, yeah, this is going to be amazing. We have a week of, okay, that was fine. And then it's just progressively boring. I wish I wasn't so down on it. It's like my favorite thing in the world is AEW, and some of my favorite people are in AEW. And it's just like, why is it like this?
How did I know I'm kind of getting like 3 questions for you here, which I'm going to lean into. How did you feel when the Miro?
Fine, we're not going long.
Yeah. How did you feel? No, this is quick. How did you feel about the Miro news? Probably not shocking, but speaking of moments I know you've enjoyed from AEW, speaking of your favorite wrestlers in the company, Miro was responsible for both of those.
Yeah. It's sad. For sure. I wish they would have used him better, but like, where's he going to go? Do you see him going into AEW, and if so, or WWE, and if so, where does he fit? I see him going to TNA, but I don't see him going back to WWE in any meaningful way. Like a big athletic dude like that should fit in anywhere, but like, where do you fit him in AEW or WWE when there's already a bunch of big athletic dudes? Like, I don't know. Is he taking Bronson Reed's spot? I don't think Triple H is going to be like, yeah, take his spot. He already got a Strowman. Rowan's back. I don't see him going back. I think it would be awesome, but I just don't see them having a spot for him right now. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't know where you put him. They're loaded right now,
Right,
like probably
right.
too loaded if you count NXT.
And who's to say? Maybe somehow we would love this. He's back in AEW. Doesn't seem likely at this point, but can't write it off yet. However, all signs point to we may have seen Miro's career in AEW, and that's all we got. A lot of what could have been.
How long have we been saying, where's Ricky? Where's Danhausen? Where's Miro? Where's Keith Lee?
It's the four. It's the four.
It just bums me out, man. Okay, I have a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to try to go fast. Hangman is on fire. Swerve is great. Haven't seen him in a minute, but he's great. Double J is having a resurgence as a character. I actually love what he's doing in there right now. I think he's been a bright spot, and he's 60.
It's a renaissance.
It's incredible. Mox is doing some of my favorite character work that he's ever done. I love Marina Shafir with this group. She makes all the sense in the world in there. I've been clamoring for that for ages. Nigel sold me a ticket for him and Danielson, even though I think it's rushed. We're probably getting Samoa Joe back soon because filming, I think, is almost done. Grand Slam looks like it's going to be fun, but half the card seems like it's slapped together. Tyler, the first 20 minutes of Collision started out with a bunkhouse brawl for, do you remember what it was for?
For the ROH Tag Team Championship.
Mm-hmm, sure was. Uno pounced Darby into a barricade. Mariah May won. Miro announced his that he wants to release. So as AEW tries to navigate a new deal, with viewership holding steady at the lowest numbers it's had in a long time compared to several years ago, and behind NXT and basically all of their shows, including Dynamite, and with arenas going half empty pretty consistently, the hell do they need to do when they have a stacked women's division and a loaded roster?
Wow, this could be its own episode for us.
Yeah.
To your point, I don't want to simplify this, but it seems so consistent that I can't not mention this. The pay-per-views we know are always going to deliver. They're always fantastic. There are times, Brad, where I've wanted to pay Tony Khan more than $50. Revolution, the Sting retirement, all in London was great this year. They always hit, or typically, right? Yeah. They're nearly batting 1,000. But it's what you said just a few minutes ago. Following the pay-per-views, it really leaves a lot to be desired. The week-to-week storylines. I think what's irking me the most right now are these trios matches where seemingly they're putting together random people. Hologram is tagging with the conglomeration. The Beast Mordos is now Roderick Strong's best friend. It just seemed
I was doing other stuff somewhere else. It's just
right. Yeah. It's, as an AEW fan, I see this and I'm grateful that we're seeing these talented men and women. But from a sensical perspective, I don't understand how 1 + 1 = 2 in these scenarios. So it's really investing in the weekly product in terms of making it coherent, making it can't miss. Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay have the tag title match against the Young Bucks. I'm sure the match is going to be great, but this isn't an established tag team facing the Bucks. And finally, for Collision, just a few episodes ago, if you rewind the tape, I was really high on their residency at the esports arena in Texas. Right. Thought that worked out really well. But now, going back to the card you described from this past weekend, it just feels like an afterthought. It totally feels like a show you can watch on DVR or just miss completely. That's not how it started. We know it was made in the image of CM Punk. We know it's a different time, but it also starts with reimagining what Collision is, because week to week, I don't know what to expect. I think it can be so much more consistent and so much better. Like you said, the roster is loaded, but we're getting a lot of random tags and just stories that I'm not as invested in as I was in, say, 2021 or 2022 in AEW.
I think a lot of this comes down to Tony Khan trying to do everything himself. And we don't know the inner workings. Maybe he's not. Maybe I'm wrong there. It's just what it looks like. Was it 2022? If Tony Khan would have just pulled the Bucks and CM Punk, put them in a room and said, squash it, shut the door, said, don't come out until you figure this out. Maybe you throw somebody in there as a mediator. Just throw in Hobbs. Just in general, just have Hobbs sit in the room.
Another wrestler we're excited to have back whenever.
Yeah, where Paul White could sit in there. Like, what are you going to do? Like, it doesn't matter if you can fight. Like, you're going to get killed by Paul White. So just have him stand in the room with them.
Maybe throw in Orange Cassidy as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
I didn't mention, this is totally not to completely derail you, the match that opened up Dynamite this week, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho fighting over a jacket from years ago.
Why now?
Why? Please continue. I forgot to mention.
No. But that's what I'm saying. There's just a bunch of stuff that's happening, but it's just stuff. And it's like, great, you remember. You're paying off the fans that remember that. Does anybody actually care anymore? Like, that was you're not in the inner circle anymore. That was plural factions ago. So anyway, I think that if they would have squashed that, it wouldn't have led to the brand split for Collision. There wouldn't have been the need for suspensions and all this other stuff. And then the weirdness that happened. Mm-hmm. Yes, all of this led to CM Punk leaving. I think that if they would have squashed it, not done the brand split, and then like really figured out the backstage stuff, maybe Punk stays. Maybe he and the Bucks and whoever have a feud, make a ton of money off of it, and they're in a super healthy place. Instead, now it's like, well, all the big stars want to go to WWE, where you can be a big star and be showcased and have support and have production value and have options outside of that are just better options.
Right.
And it's like
Lucha Bros report.
Lucha Bros, yeah. And who knows what's happening with that. But if Rey Fenix is still under contract, why aren't you using him until he leaves? I just don't understand what you're waiting for. Danhausen, like, oh yeah, he sells merch and all this stuff, and he's not a traditional wrestler. Who cares? He's selling merch. Just put him out there. Like, throw him in front of the camera. Oh, you don't like that he doesn't like what you did with CM Punk? Who gives a shit? Just do it. Like, make money. Like, we like him. He's entertaining as hell. I want to see him more. My kid wants to see him more. I don't want to turn on the TV and go, the learning tree, and see crusty ass Chris Jericho going out there to fight Orange Cassidy over something that happened during the pandemic at Dailies, where there was no crowd. It was just other wrestlers that were on dark. It was before we knew who the Guns were out there clapping in the front row. Like, we're going to pay that off, Mimosa Mayhem, because that was such a cool match. When Eric Bischoff was moderating their conversation between each other, back when Bischoff wasn't just constantly disparaging AEW for no reason. Now he has a reason. Like, you're giving him credibility when he had none. And it's just, I don't understand why you would do that. But I also feel like when you have a person that wants all the control and wants to have total control over certain things. Listen, man, we're on what? Logo 5 for gimmick infringement, layout 27. We've updated it, and people are like, I love the annual tradition of updating the graphic. It's not a tradition for me. It's just, I look at it and I go, I don't like it. I want it to be better. And at some point I need somebody to take that away from me and go, no, it's out of your control, because I know I'll always look at it and go, no, what can be better? I want it to be better. I don't understand how everybody that has a podcast isn't looking at those things and going, I want them to be better. We're evaluating whether or not they're right. But that's how I feel about the television products. I don't know how we can look at the product and go like, well, yeah, it's great how it is. Nobody's watching it and nobody cares. Like, you were consistently beating NXT. Consistently beaten by a lot. The only thing that's changed is that sometimes they have guest star appearances, but you don't even have, I feel like when your biggest star or stars plural on the weekly television product are guest appearances on your weekly television product, then you have a problem with your television product. The first what is it? I don't know, like 10%, 5%, whatever it is, of your show. More than that, 20 minutes is dedicated to Ring of Honor. And you do a bunkhouse rules match, which is a hardcore match. There was blood 3 seconds into the match. If your primary product is behind a paywall and you're going to do a hardcore match like that and give it away for free on a television program that's not even for your product, while you got all these stars everybody wants to see, not on the screen, of course I'm asking for a release if I'm Miro, because that could be me right now. I don't understand what Collision is. I understand Dynamite, to your point. Rampage is different now. Rampage feels like a throwaway half the time because we get these incredible matches that are on there that don't mean a thing.
Right.
And
the 4-way main event was super fun.
Tons of fun.
Leo Rush, Nick Wayne, Kip Sabian. I'm forgetting the fourth person, but
all people coming up. All people coming up. That show could benefit from a cruiserweight title or something.
Oh, like for sure.
Do that because if that's what you're going to do there anyway, like do that. Mm-hmm. Put a title in there, make that show matter, and make us want to pay attention to it. Instead, it's like, it's Rampage. I'll find out what happened on it and see what Action Andretti did with no character whatsoever. I bet it looked cool. Like you gotta do something. And it's like, I'm at a point now where I'm getting mad at it because I love it so much. AEW got me back into wrestling, man. I know, and it's making me want to get out of it. And it's just because the wrestling is incredible. The great character work being done by the greats in the company is next level, but all of them are older, more experienced guys. I think they're pulling this out of their experience, and you can't do that with people that don't have any. If they're homegrowns, Darby has taken 5 years to grow a personality. I really like him on the mic now. Jack Perry, same thing. I really like him on the mic now. I still don't understand anything really about all of Private Party or all of Top Flight.
Yeah. They're teaming with Commander all the time now.
And why? Because they're high flyers, and that's what they have in common. It's because we have this luchador over here. We don't really know what to do with him, so let's just stick him with another. That's
what it's giving.
Yeah, but I also don't want them to LWOify the place. What's Roosh up to? Like, is 10 still in the company? Preston Vance? Like, I see him occasionally. He'll do a promo occasionally. Sometimes he's over here. Sometimes he's over there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where the hell Wardlow is. He's somewhere off being unhappy, I believe.
One of my favorites. Yeah, we've talked about it.
That's an AEW homegrown who knows how to talk, who has a really good character, who everybody is behind, who disappeared.
He checks all the boxes. Yeah. I'm looking back, it's shocking he hasn't been world champion by now.
So I don't know what they need to do, but it feels very much like these guys said something or did something, or they're refusing to work, which I really doubt. I really doubt people are like, I refuse to go on television and have experience. So they must have pissed him off in some way. And then they were just like, all right, get out of here. You can get paid at home. Feels like Ted Turner's.
I think the Ricky Starks example is probably the most glaring. And to your point, Brad, we don't know all the details. We don't know what's true and what's not.
Or the relationships between talent.
With the brass, as you said, with leadership. But Ricky Starks seems so undeniable. And he's posting all the time because fans are tweeting him all the time. Like, don't believe anything you hear differently. I am healthy. I am willing to work. I'm ready to go. Ricky Starks, champion material, has hit home runs time and time again. To your point about, we're getting bunkhouse, and the match was fun. It was very hardcore. We're getting bunkhouse and other matches when we want to see all of the talent you mentioned. And at the top of that is a healthy, ready, absolute Ricky Starks.
I don't even know. I have nothing to add, man. I went on way too long there, but I'm just getting off P and V here. I'm mad. I'm just mad. I'm mad at Tony Khan. While you were talking, I spooled up a tweet. Like, it's in the chamber. It's ready to go. And I'm at Tony Khan, like, do something. It's like, you need the meme with the stick. The stick. In the body. Just do something.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a sorry state of affairs, but I know it's not, Tyler. 19 Media. And since we're up, I don't know why I'm talking fast. We're so late. Let's just slowly take our time and get into the state of 19 Media Group. So hit the music.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 Media.
Oh man, what a time to be alive, Tyler. Mo and Mike welcomed Low Fat Beats for their inaugural fan series edition of Hidden Gems Football. I keep seeing it. I keep not hitting play. I got to check it out later, where they discuss the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe I'll catch it before tonight's game. Mike also released a new episode of the Salty Thoughts of Mike's staff discussing the show's future. Follow them at Mike Steffens _ and at A Power Mojo.
Callan Warren talks fantasy basketball on the Baseline NBA podcast. Check out their latest episode for a conversation with Robin Marks from Believe in Fantasy. You can follow them at NBA Baseline.
Desmond of Hip to the Games dropped a new episode. He reacts to comments from Anthony Edwards on Michael Jordan's era. Woof. Provides his 3 favorite current songs and a review of NBA 2K25. Can't believe that's a number. That's wild to me. Like, I remember playing 2K5.
I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't going to
like,
verbalize it. Here I am now.
2K4,
I was thinking
2K5.
the same exact thing. Wow.
It's like the Ray Lewis cover. Man, they had the hit stick on the GameCube. You can follow the show at hip2 games. I hate everything about how I said that. I hate it so much, Tyler.
It's back. And finally, Warren of the NBA Baseline podcast, the Baseline NBA podcast, excuse me. Shout out to him because he also hosts dope interviews, welcoming guests from Hollywood, the Hardwood, and more. In his latest episode, he sits down with Ashley Christopher of HBCU Week. Tune in and follow the show at dope_interviews.
All right, Tyler, we're at that point in the show. The point is no return, I believe. What did we miss?
I got 2 items. Number 1, we've not discussed this on air or even off air, if I remember correctly. The downfall of Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Oh, no.
We're not going to go in depth, but speaking of diabolical men who have caused harm on others, oh my goodness. Awful. What is not awful, ASÉ Wrestling returns this Sunday for their show, Smile. ASÉ is with you from North Carolina. Very excited. Darius Lockhart is back wrestling on the show. Other fun matches. There is going to be an announcement from Caprice Coleman, who's the commissioner of ASÉ. Maybe, just maybe, we get some ASÉ championships. We shall see, but I'm looking forward to it. Brad, what did we miss?
A couple of things. One of them I don't know you can speak to because we did forget this, Tyler. The Suns lost a legend.
That they did.
I'm told. I don't know.
Al McCoy, longtime broadcaster, 50+ seasons. Shazam, the infamous call.
That's right.
Known as not only an icon in his profession, but by all accounts, just a very kind man, always looking to help others and share his passion for this team, this franchise we hold so dear. Yeah, man, just a complete legend, amazing career, Hall of Famer.
Well said. I'm glad. Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I had nothing there. I just saw him and I was like, well, I wrote down Mercury Morris died this morning. Dolphins legend, one of the 72 Dolphins undefeated team.
So much loss lately. Frankie Beverly passed away recently.
So much.
Hall of Fame R&B singer. It's been a lot of loss.
I shouted out the Flying Tigers at the Pep Assembly. Who I didn't shout out is Des Roebuck for beating the state or setting the state record for receptions. Unbelievable. That whole family is unbelievable. Shout out to Sean and Monica Roebuck for doing such a great job with those kids. Just remarkable athletic feats all around that whole family. I just read Joan Can't Act again, and I'm in the wrong list. One of the other things I wrote down is simply this. It's just a phrase. It's just a name, Tyler. It's just Queen Aminata. That's all I wrote. That's all I need to write.
Period. I was going to mention for Dez, he was, the first time I met him, he was in 7th or 8th grade. He came by one of the practices at the school. I was coaching the freshman boys team at that time. And it was instantly, oh my gosh, this kid's going to be a star. The bounce, the manners, as you mentioned, the whole family is fantastic. Big shout out to him. Queen Aminata, yes, I'm glad. So talk about a bright spot in terms of weekly programming. So glad she's featured. She lost to Serena Deeb, as we know, but glad that she is getting TV time because I agree with you. Queen Aminata, period. Crown her. 2025.
Immediately, yes.
If
It
not
has
sooner.
to be the agenda. It has to be in the agenda. The way we push for Jamie Hayter, we got to do it for the Queen.
I love it. I love it. I love this episode, Brad. It was great to see you. We thank all of you for tuning in. We hope you have an amazing week, and we will see you next time. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.